The new Volkswagen Tayron is essentially a replacement for the old Tiguan Allspace, offering 3 rows of seats. It's a little bit bigger, a little bit wider, and a little bit taller. Here I'm testing the sporty 195 TSI R-Line, which is kind of like a Tiguan R7-seater. It's got a number of sporty details on the outside, including black wheel arch surrounds and other black trimmings, and these big 20-inch alloy wheels, wearing 255 Continental Performance tyres. I think it's good that Volkswagen has given the Tayron a slightly different look and design compared with the Tiguan, just to separate it, make it a more distinct model. Although you can still tell it's obviously a Volkswagen as part of the Tiguan family. Power comes from the long-evolved EA888 2-litre turbo-petrol 4-cylinder engine. Here it produces 195 kilowatts and 400 newton meters, matched up to a 7-speed dual-clutch automatic with all-wheel drive. This is the same engine featured in the Tiguan 195 TSI, except here, due to it being a little bit heavier, about 100 kilograms heavier, the 0 to 100 claim is 6.1 seconds, up from 5.9 seconds in the Tiguan with the 195 TSI. Interestingly, you can get the Tayron with a plug-in hybrid, and it's actually more powerful than this at 200 kilowatts. But due to it being about 100 kilograms heavier again, the 0 to 100 claim is 7.3 seconds. As for the interior, this presents as a typical Volkswagen, as in it presents excellent build quality, good use of materials, with suede trimmings across the doors for the R-Line, soft touch all across the dash with exposed stitching, and awesome bespoke bucket seats specific to the R-Line. You've got plenty of adjustment there as well. They feature Ergo Active technology with complete lumbar support and adjustment. And up on the dash, you've got a massive touchscreen incorporating a main menu page with your main apps, a quick jump to option for the driver assist features, so you can easily turn them on and off on the go, a comprehensive surround view camera system, and a driver profile page with various drive modes. In the second row, you've got a 60/40 sliding bench, so you can actually adjust where you need the legroom the most. You've also got full climate control with twin climate vents, charging options, a flip-down armrest with cup holders, and a similar themed sporty contour backrest like the front seats. It does feel a little bit bigger than the Tiguan, but obviously you can adjust that legroom with the sliding bench. And up at the back, the third row, look, this is not obviously meant to be a full-time 7-seater. It doesn't offer the same amount of legroom and headroom as a large SUV or even a people mover, but they are fine for temporary use for adults. Up to a certain height, I'm 170 centimeters and I can fit in there okay, but they're probably best suited for children. You do have some amenities back here as well. And then right at the back, you've got 345 litres of boot space, even with the third row up, which is very impressive. And that expands to almost 2,000 litres with both rear rows down. So even if you use this as a 5-seater, you've got a lot more boot space than the regular Tiguan. And you've got storage for the security blind underneath the floor, so you don't have to worry about trying to find somewhere to put that. Okay, on the road now, so it's nice and wet today. We can test out that 4Motion 4-wheel drive system. Being a bit longer than the regular Tiguan, we're going to have slightly better stability, especially around higher speed corners and bends and so on. That's just the way mechanics works. And it does feel, I guess, a little bit bigger and a bit more stable. It's not as agile and darty as the Tiguan, depending on what your preferences are, what you want. But it should also mean slightly better ride quality because the vehicle doesn't pivot as much, being a bit longer. We do have various drive modes to choose from, eco, comfort, sport and all of that, but we've got an individual mode. You can actually go in and fiddle around with the dynamic chassis control. So you've got about, 11 different settings there for the suspension. And I think that's really good, especially for the sort of 7-seat SUV class. This sort of versatility is rare. So when you're picking up the kids from school or just driving the grandma to the airport or whatever, you can have it in the comfort mode, but then if you want to go for a nice sporty drive on a Sunday morning, you can crank it all the way up to the sportiest setting and get a firmer setup, which is more responsive in the corners. And even in the firmest setting, I could drive this every day in this setup. Like, it's not bone-jarringly stiff. It's just definitely got a sporty feel, and you can pick up the, you can notice the finer details in road imperfections, in other words. But going along here, we've got a few undulations and sort of dips and bumps. They're not as sharp, but this should provide really good stability, which it is. I feel like, well, I get this sense that the wheels are firmly planted on the ground. Sometimes you go through there in, you know, a more cushy setup of vehicle, and it's sort of bouncing and pivoting and seesawing back and forth, and it just doesn't feel as settled or as confidence inspiring, whereas this, yeah, very much feels like it is planted on the road. And of course you can go through and fiddle around with different settings for the all drive system, comfort and sport, same with the steering, and a few other settings as well. We'll put it into the sport mode just before we do. So I'm averaging 8.8 litres per 100 kilometres at the moment, which I think is, you know, it's not the best if you compare it to the modern plug-in hybrids and hybrids that are out at the moment. But for a sporty, turbocharged, petrol-only 7-seater SUV, I think that's not bad, considering the 0 to 100 claim as well. You've got paddle shifters behind the steering wheel as well. You can play with those. I suspect it will upshift by itself. After all, this is not a proper R model or anything like that. It's just an R line. Bit of wheel spin there. That's still staying in 2 then. That was good in second, I mean. Didn't upshift just before I entered the corner. Awesome grip, even in the wet. As you'd expect, Volkswagen four-wheel drive systems have always been very good. But yeah, this is a sporty package, and it feels fun to drive, and you've got room for 7. It feels like you've got really good brakes with this as well. There's not too much nose diving under braking, but there's still a little bit, even in this sporty mode. But as I said, you can go through and configure your own individual mode for a set road. For example, if I was driving on this road, I would probably come in with individual mode and then dial some comfort into the suspension, so maybe put it about there, but then have sportiness for everything else. That way I can still enjoy the kind of potential of the car, but it's just a little bit softer in terms of soaking up the bumps, a little bit slower to react for those bumps. But as I said, I could drive in the maximum sport mode, no problem. Like, it's not super stiff that just, you know, rattles your bones. Excellent performance from this engine. I mean, they've been evolving this engine for a long time now, so they're extracting the most out of it in terms of power, torque, low-end torque as well. You don't need very many revs, but also a maximum efficiency, just in terms of, yeah, power efficiency as well, like extracting the most out of every drop of fuel. Yeah, this is actually a really fun SUV to drive around, even on a pretty you know, average day like today. The steering feels, well, pretty much like most Volkswagen sporty cars. It's formal, it's providing all the critical feedback that I need, but it's not exactly, you know, super inviting. If you're after that in this segment, you're probably going to be looking for a while. Not many other, you know, sporty 7-seat SUVs out there provide a really organic steering feel, so no points deducted for this. But yeah, I just mean it's got that typical Volkswagen solidity to it. Okay, up the hill here in second gear. Let's see if it hits the red line. Will upshift by itself, although you could turn the ESC off. That might change things. I know it does in some vehicles. It'll bounce off the rev limiter, but you know, this is not a track vehicle. It's meant to be a sporty and energetic 7-seat SUV. Like, it's got a bit of a personality here. The roaring engine note it's okay. I mean, it is definitely very muted and muffled as part of emissions laws, I'm sure. But I do like the kind of natural angry sound of it. It doesn't have any sort of fake sounds that I can tell coming through into the cabin. You're just hearing this, yeah, pretty highly strung 2-litre turbo 4-cylinder doing its thing. I mean, if you wanted to, you could fit an aftermarket catback exhaust or something like that. It'd probably sound alright. Full throttle. Yeah, this is very sure-footed, and it's very quick. From point to point, especially along a country road like this, a winding country road like this. It offers excellent performance. All right, let's head off now and do the performance test and see how it goes.